Yo, what is going on, Nitrosites? It is your boy, the Nitro General here, and welcome to Week 6 of the NPBA against the Miami Magic carpeting coach, Karonikis. Now, we have had a long history of fighting Karonikis. If you guys have been watching since the beginning, we have fought him every season of the NPBA, since he is the only coach fighting this season that has fought in every single one of the seasons. So, thank you to him for sticking around. Yeah, he's got an extremely threatening team. Now, unfortunately, I have to record this and our team builder before or after I had already done the battle. Unfortunately, the video files, well, I realized that my headphones were not plugged in the whole time, and it was capturing audio from my computer, and it just sounds like garbage. So, worse than, like, this actually sounds so already. So what we're going to do is we're going to re-record this, and we're going to, you know, try not to give away any spoilers from the battle. Yeah, and unfortunately, since the same thing happened in the battle, it's going to have to be a post-commentary. Just because I don't want to post a video with bad quality and having to keep editing out because my headphones kept talking to me, saying they were shutting off and shutting back on, which I thought something was wrong with them. Turns out, you know, I just didn't have the right drive plugged into my computer to use the Bluetooth. So, yeah, so we're just going to re-record it, and I'd rather not have crappy audio and have to try to do all this stuff. So, yeah, he's got a really, really threatening team. But before that, if you guys are excited for this and you do want to show some support, I would really appreciate it if you guys would hit that like button down below and subscribe if you guys are new. And, yeah, help me hit my end-of-the-year goal of 350 subscribers. We are nearing 300. I think we're still a little bit far off, but we are nearing it a little bit. So if you guys want to share this video with your friends, all that, you know, help out. But, yeah, so if we lose this week's battle, we are no longer going to be the number 2 team in the league. We will actually be the number 3 team in the league, and Karonikis will be the number 2 team. And then he will, but that does not guarantee him taking our bye to the semifinals. That would totally depend on next week. If we beat our next week battle, if we lose this and beat next week with enough points for a differential boost, then to get us into second place, and we still get our bye. If we don't, then we still make playoffs. We've still guaranteed ourselves a playoff spot. So regardless, you guys are still getting a playoff battle, which is awesome. Well, you might be getting a playoff battle. Obviously, if we win this week, or we lose this week and then win next week with enough differential points, we can still get the bye to the semifinals. So, yeah. But I'm incredibly nervous. He's got a really, really threatening team. But, yeah, let's just get right into it. So, his team consists of Among Us. We have Zero Ledge. He's the one who sneaked Zero Ledge to me. So, I will never forgive you, Karonikis, because that was the Pokemon that I wanted. Rotom Wash, Clodsire, Wigglytuff, Haxorus, Altaria, Electros, Dugtrio, Lady Gaga, and Flamigo. Now, he's got a really, really threatening team, right? Amogus obviously is incredibly threatening. Gets access to Spore, gets access to Rage Powder, gets access to Clear Smog. So we're not bringing any setup Pokemon this week. He gets access to Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, Energy Ball, all that good stuff. Also gets access to one of the best abilities in the game, if not the best ability in the game, in Regenerator. So that's, yeah, that's the thing, right? And then we got Zero Ledge, who obviously can be just really good with Bulk Up. Also gets Swords Dance. Will-O-the-Wisp, Bitter Blade is insane. Does get access for Flare Blitz, Shadow Claw, Shadow Sneak for priority. Also gets access to Dragon Claw, and he has brought Terra Dragon. I highly doubt he's going to bring it this week. I'm going to talk like I don't actually know what's happening this week. So, not to give away any spoilers and try to reiterate what I said like a couple hours ago when I recorded this for the first time. So, yeah, I highly doubt he'd bring Dragon Claw, Zero Ledge, or Terra Dragon, just because it's obviously... I mean, I guess he could, because we have... No, I guess not. Yeah, it doesn't really seem right. Rotom Wash is definitely the most scary of the Rotoms, and it is absolutely bonkers against our team. Obviously gets Hydro Pump, Discharge, Thunderbolt, Thunder, Will-O-the-Wisp, Thunder Wave, all that stuff. So, yeah. That's just, in general, that is what, that's just really, really scary. So, I'm not gonna act like that's a big threat, but or not like a small threat. It is a huge threat, right? Probably the biggest threat on his team. Then we have the Clodsire, which I highly doubt he brings because of our Palafin, but that obviously gets access to Stealth Rock Spikes, Toxic, Earthquake, Poison Jab, also gets access to Haze. Then we got Wigglytuff here, which is actually a bigger threat than I would think. It's actually a Fairy type, obviously, but it gets access to Reflect and Light Screen. It gets access to Dazzling Gleam. It gets access to Wish. It gets access to, yeah, just a lot. And I feel like this thing might actually come just because of our weakness to, we have a little bit of weakness to Fairy types. Then we have Haxorus here, who obviously is really strong in general. It gets access to Dragon Dance, Earthquake, Iron Tail, Poison Jab, Dragon Claw, Draco Meteor if he decides to run special for some reason. Electros is the only Pokemon in the game that does not have an immunity, unless it terrestrializes, which it can't because it's not one of his Terra Pokemon. His Terra types, or his Terra captains are Ceruledge and Flamigo. So just let you guys know that. But Electros does not have a weakness. Obviously can't be hit by ground type moves because it is has Levitate. Gets access to Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, Ice Punch. Gets access to Volt Switch, Thunder, Thunderbolt. Close Combat now. Coil. Giga Drain too. That's a big one. I drafted this thing last season, so I do know how good it is. And then we have Dugtrio. But Dugtrio is not that big of a threat, right? Because Arena Trap is banned, so he cannot Arena Trap us. So that's big. But it does get access to Sword Stance, right? Sword Stance, Earthquake. Whatever other ground type moves it gets. It gets access to Sucker Punch, I know. Other than that, don't really know what other stuff this thing gets. Stealth Rock. Lady Gaga, or the Espathra, is insanely scary as well. That thing with Speed Boost, Calm Mind, Stored Power is just absolutely insane. And Flamigo is a great, and Lumina Crash is just insane too. But Flamigo is a great co-star for it, with pun intended, co-star, because obviously if that's in if it comes in when it uses a setup move, it just copies the stats, which is crazy. So if it wants to Calm Mind and send in this thing, obviously it's just really good. Well, it's not really specially offensive, it's physically offensive. Gets access to Brave Bird, Close Combat, all that kind of stuff. Lunge, I believe it does too. And then Altaria, obviously not a big threat. Does get access to Perish Song, but they cannot Perish Trap me with Dugtrio and Altaria. Does get access to, like I said, Draco Meteor, Earthquake, Dragon Dance, Cotton Guard, Tailwind. I believe it gets access to Defog. I don't know for sure. But, yeah, overall, his team is insanely scary. Probably one of the scariest in the league. If I had to take a guess on what Pokemon he's going to bring, I'm going to say Amoonguss, Ceruledge, Flamigo, Lady Gaga, Rotom, Wigglytuff, and then either Haxorus or, I don't know, probably Haxorus or Electros maybe, but I feel like for him to bring two electric types with our Lightning Rod Pokemon is a little risky. So yeah, that's his team. Let's get into the team that we're bringing. Alright guys, so this is the team we're bringing against the Miami Magikarps and Coach Karonikis for week 6 of the NPBA. So first up, we do have Iron Valiant here with Life Orb. We are running specially offensive this week with Flying Terra Blast, strictly because of the fact that I feel like we've run physical all this time, and I think he's going to run physically offensive instead of specially offensive, or specially defensive. So yeah, we're running a Modest Nature with special attack boosted, Taunt, Destiny Bond, Moonblast, and Terra Blast. Right, Taunt is basically there so that the Espathra can't set up, so all of his setup Pokemon can't set up, so Wigglytuff can't set up screens. Destiny Bond is there just in case, we need to use that. Moonblast is there to hit Haxorus and Altaria for super effective, as well as the Flamigo. And then Terra Blast always one-hit KOs Amoonguss, unless it's, it has an 87% chance to OHKO Amoonguss, unless it's max HP and max special defense, which I don't foresee him doing that. I foresee him, I foresaw him going for probably physically defensive, unless it's just specially offensive. It's running Giga Drain for Willy, since this thing basically walls Willy. Well, he does have Ice Punch. But the thing is that this thing is just really, really good against Paladin in general. So running especially offensive, as well as being able to hit us with a Sludge Bomb, Iron Valiant, I feel like that also is a answer to Iron Valiant. So I feel like it's going to be especially offensive. But yeah, so then we have Willy up next here with Choice Band, 0 to Hero, obviously. Jet Punch, Wave Crash, Haze, and Ice Punch, right? Jet Punch and Wave Crunch are... Jet Punch and Wave Crash are for especially... Or for our, you know, our stab. Obviously, Wave Crash is going to do a lot more than Jet Punch in situations where I have to hit Pokemon like Amoonguss, or Electros, or Altaria, or Haxorus, where they resist the Jet Punch. So Wave Crash will do more. Haze is there just in case we got to get rid of the stat changes on Flamigo or Espathra or both, or you know, any of the other setup mons he has, which literally every single one of his Pokemon is a setup mon except for Clodsire, and I guess technically Wigglytuff, but Wigglytuff does get access to Calm Mind, I do believe, but he's got Nasty Plot, he's got Swords Dance, Dragon Dance mons, Coils, Combines. It's crazy. I mean, I guess Amoonguss isn't set up either. But and then Ice Punch is there for Haxorus or Altaria. It's also there for Amoonguss as well as Clodsire too. But we're going to use Wave Crash or Jet Punch and Clodsire if you guys are ready. But we're running max HP, max attack. I want to be more bulky this week, and then just be able to hit as hard as we can. So yeah. Then we have Majora this week, who's actually not running an offensive attack. I feel like this thing is just going to be able to come in and then use its Focus Sash, set up Sticky Web since a lot of his team is fast. Tailwind up, Helping Hand, and Rain Dance. Rain Dance is there for Willy, as well as we do have Thunder on Sparky. I feel like this thing could be a little bit cool with Rain Dance this week. I feel like that's nice. We are not running an offensive move on this thing, but hopefully it's just always just going to be on the field next to a Pokemon that it can just support with Helping Hand. And that is not like I don't actually know what this thing does, what happens with this thing in the battle, because I do. And I'm just trying to avoid spoilers, but maybe I should have run an offensive attack on this thing. Just saying. Then we have Malik here with Life Orb, Curse Body, Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, Will-O-Wisp, and Destiny Bond. Max special attack, max speed. I do want this thing to be able to hit as hard as it can. Shadow Ball is there, obviously, for the Zero Ledge, as we outspeed the Zero Ledge. And then it outspeeds the stupid little Lady Gaga Pokemon. Oh, I also just want to notice that I'm not running I'm not running like Jolly on this thing. Or no, I guess it wouldn't be Jolly. It would be Timid this week because we're not running physical offense. I'm not doing that because this thing really outspeeds Flamigo every time unless it has that speed boost or it's Choice Scarf, which he could run Choice Scarf for Iron Valiant strictly because he wants to outspeed it and Brave Bird and kill it, but when we Terra Flying, he cannot do that, and we're always outspeeded naturally because it's got 306 speed and we have 331. So, oh, come on. Did my mouse just die? I think my mouse just died. Oh no. Oh no. I think my mouse just died. I will be right back. Alright, so yeah, so we're back now. Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, Will-O-Wisp, and Destiny Bond. This thing is just really good. Shadow Ball, obviously there for the Espathra. Sludge Bomb is there for the Wigglytuff, basically, and the Amoonguss. Will-O-Wisp is there if we need to burn, like something like Haxorus or the Flamigo, and then Destiny Bond is there because we outspeed a lot of his Pokemon, bearing the speed boost Pokemon. That's just a threat in general. So, but this thing also, even though Shadow Ball hits Espathra, we're weak to Lumineon Crash, so, or Psychic, whatever one he decides to go with in this situation. So man, this is not the best time for you to die. You need to where is my mouse? Okay, there we go. Alright, so the next one up is we do have Bow Wow. Bow Wow is running Chople Berry, Intimidate for Crunch, Play Rough, Protect, and Roar, right? Chople Berry is there just because if this thing gets hit by a super effective close combat by the Flamigo, we can OHKO it with Play Rough or be able to almost OHKO it. As well as Crunch is there for the Espathra as well, being immune to its Lumineon Crash. Protect is there, and then Roar is there if we need to get rid of something with Stat Boost, right? We are running max HP and max attack. I really just want to be bulky and hit as hard as we can, right? And then we have Sparky here, right? We have Sparky the Raichu. with Magnet, Lightning Rod, Thunder, Fake Out, Volt Switch, and Wish, right? Pretty self-explanatory. Wish is just there just in case we need to wish into a Pokemon that doesn't have a lot of health. Magnet, so we get as much damage as we physically can, right? Max speed, max special attack, with a modest nature. Yeah, so that's basically the team we're bringing. So let's get right into the battle, guys. Alright, guys, so here we are in the battle against Kaironikis and coach of the Miami Magikarps for Week 6 of the NPBA. So he did bring Clodsire over the Wigglytuff, which I thought was a little weird, but I see everything else that I expected to see. So I decided that it was in my best interest to go into lead with Iron Valiant and Majora. That way we can get up Sticky Webs automatically, as well as probably what I thought he was going to lead with was the Amoonguss, so I could just Terra Flying and OHKO that, right? So that is what happens. He leads with Amoonguss and Espathra. I lead with Masquerain and Iron Valiant. We get the Intimidate off, but it doesn't really matter. So like I said, my play was just to Sticky Webs here and then go for the Terra Flying Terra Blast straight into Amoonguss and get our 87% chance KO. So that's what I do. And it goes down to 24%, getting 76% of its health. Meaning that it is literally our worst fear, right? It is max HP and max special defense, right? And not only that, but we got one of the lowest rolls possible, since the lowest roll was 74% there, and the highest roll being like 85. So we still got a very low roll as well as doing that. And if I decided to stick with our physically offensive Iron Valiant like I had every single week, we got the KO guaranteed because he wasn't physically offensive. But I decided not to at the last minute, and we don't get the KO, and that ruins that just snowballs everything, right? Literally my entire plan of being able to just OHKO this is just gone. It's just done. So we are no longer able to actually do anything. So it just sucks. So then he decides he has the Citrus Berry, which sucks. I set up the Sticky Web, he Degleams, which doesn't really do too much, right? And then he Spores and puts me to sleep. When I saw that's how little that does, I was like, awesome, that's not bad. Then he puts me to sleep. I can't really switch out into anything right now, because if he keeps going for Dazzling Gleam, I can't really switch out my Bostiff. And I really want to bring in Gengar, but Gengar's already going to be slower now that Espathra has the speed boost, and if it goes for Lamina Crash at that point, it's just dead. So I decided to my best interest to just stay in and go for the Tailwind, right? So he does switch out into Flamigo here, copies its speed stats, it goes for a Substitute, which is awful. We stay asleep, and we set up Rain Dance first, which I don't know why I set up Rain Dance instead, right? He just decides to go for a Dazzling Gleam again, which is fine, and then he goes for Liquidation, shows off Liquidation. Okay, and let me just say, what are the chances that we set up Rain Dance and then he has that, right? If we did not set up Rain Dance there, I don't think that killed. And why would he have Liquidation? We don't have a single Pokemon on our team that actually is weak to Liquidation except for Claw. But he still decided to go for Liquidation. He still decided to run Liquidation. Which is just, it blows my mind. So Iron Valiant just dies. Now, I do get up to Tailwind, which is what I was trying to do. However, with the speed boost, everything was still going to outspeed pretty much anyways. I have Raichu, go into Gengar. I fake out on the Flamigo so it cannot attack me. And it goes for a Dazzling Gleam again. His Dazzling Gleam is disabled, which is kind of big. I decide to stay in and attempt to Shadow Ball on the Espathra. He doubles into Amoonguss. He combines with Espathra, which is really bad. I Shadow Ball on it. It does bust the Super Sub, and then I Thunder. It doesn't really do much to Amoonguss. So he's pretty much at full health. Now I go into my Bostiff, thinking that he's going to go for his Lamina Crash. He goes for a Substitute. Again, I go for a Thunder on Espathra, break the sub, but then he Spores Raichu. So there's that. Gets another speed boost. I go into Masquerain here. I want to try to get another Tailwind up or set up Rain Dance again. I crunch. Basically do that. He Pollen Puffs my Bostiff, which is not great. And he's already faster. He decides to Rage Powder and Roost, which is probably my worst fear. Again, because of the fact that I could have OHKO'd the Espathra here. but he rage quit. So, or not rage. So now he is +4 speed and special defense. He Dazzling Gleams OHKOs my boss diff. I come in with Palafin here in the hopes of trying to win with Palafin. He Brave Birds on Raichu, which is probably the best case scenario. He degleams, almost KOs everything. I have to go for another Tailwind because we don't have anything else on Masquerain to actually do damage-wise. And I can't afford to switch out into any other Pokemon here to take that damage. And I can't go for a Helping Hand. So he Brave Birds on Masquerain and kills Masquerain. And obviously he's faster here and decides to Dazzling Gleam on me, right? So we are literally have not KO'd a single one, right? Palafin comes in and Gengar. I'm really hoping here that Palafin can just come in and just click Jet Punch and clean up, right? So I decided to go for a Jet Punch on Flamigo. That probably wasn't the best bet because of the fact that Espathra was definitely the bigger threat here. And then he Dazzling Gleams, doesn't really do too much. And if I went for a Shadow Ball, I think I probably almost OHKO'd it. So, hindsight's 20/20, I guess. I go for a Jet Punch, does not KO the Espathra. He cannot go for a Substitute, which is really good. I Sludge Bomb on the Amoonguss, and he Giga Drains on Palafin. Shows that he has Giga Drain. So, I am able to get a KO here with Jet Punch, but unfortunately, that is not the KO on the Pokemon I wanted the KO on. And I Sludge Bomb instead of Shadow Balling for some reason. And then he goes into Zero Ledge here, which could have had... Then he Terra Dragons. For some reason, I have no idea why he has Terra Dragon, but he does. Okay, so fortunately enough, I do get the KO on Espathra, and I'm kind of hoping here that possibly that there's a chance that I could win, but then he shows off Shadow Claw, and he does get the KO, and with Rotom, there's no way that we can win, and he does this, and he just wins the battle 3-0. And we lose our first battle of the season. And I'm not gonna lie, like I said, hindsight's 20/20, but the biggest thing for me is that I switched from defense or physically offensive to specially offensive on Iron Valiant at the last minute, right? At the last minute. And unfortunately, that caused me to not get the KO on the Amoonguss like I should have first turn, and we could have literally been so good having a not sleeping and not have been able to sleep on any of my other Pokemon. We would have been in such a good spot. But I decided to go specially offensive at the literal last minute, and that cost us the battle. So, like I said, this is not bad. We've still guaranteed ourselves a playoff spot. And technically, we could still get the bye in semifinals if he loses next week and we win next week. We still get the bye, right? As well as if we both win. But if he loses, like, if he only wins like a 2-0, although I did look, and with this, it does put him at a 15 differential, and we have 10, meaning that we could only physically tie if he wins at a 1-0, and then we get a 6-0. So we can't really. So that is... Unfortunately, we lost. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I am a little salty because of the decisions that I made, that I was thinking too hard into this, and it caused me to actually lose the battle. Now, he definitely deserved this. He's a great player, and GG's to him, like, honestly. But I do kind of wish that I won that, and I am a little bit salty, but it is what it is. GG's to Karanikis, and yeah, our first loss of the season. So yeah, other than that, guys, that's gonna be it for me. So make sure you guys tune in next week for the final battle of the regular season. We are fighting one of my actual good friends, Soul Surfer. So he's been in this season. He's been in here since, what was it, the first season, was it? Or was it the second season that he came and filled in for a spot for somebody? I don't know, but he's incredibly a good player too, and unfortunately, he's not as good of a win streak as we are right now. I believe that he's 4-2, I think, right now. So, because he won this week, so I believe that put him at 4-2, which is going to be close. So I'm a little nervous because he has like Chien-Pao and Chi-Yu, which is just insane. Luckily, we do have Iron Valiant, but yeah, so other than that, I think what we do is just, yeah, we just try to win next week, and hopefully we win by enough to make to still get our buy. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me, guys. Like I said at the end of every video, I am the Nitro General. I really hope you guys did enjoy it. I'll see you in the next one. Nitro General's out. Peace.